Okay, hello. I am Emily Tallman from the English department, one of your Costa representatives. And today we are talking to Charles Newman from the art department. Thank you so much for being here. So you know the questions already, but the first one, what is your favorite food truck?
My wife found it and we went to it recently. It's called Que Concha, and they make pan dulce, and then they put ice cream in the middle. Then they'll drizzle it with caramel or with hot chocolate. I would eat the chocolate. So if you've got a sweet tooth, it's definitely the place to go. It's usually
Yeah,
around here, but it also travels around the valley.
that sounds good. And your main reason why you chose teaching as a career?
That was a long, a long path because originally I wanted to get into computers, and I pursued that for a little bit until I did not get along with the computers. And I realized that, yeah, it was fun, but I did not see the rest of my life going into computer technician or repair. And I was taking classes here and there in a community college in Texas. And so I was the wanderer. I didn't really have a path. I was just taking things and I wanted to see what I wanted to do. And I found kind of like a home in the art department where the faculty were very open to dialogue between students with stuff about class, about technique, or about artworks, or just anything in general. And started to get a bond with all of the other students in the classroom and with the faculty. And I saw what they were doing every day. And like, gee, that seems like what I might want to do. So I kind of just stuck with it, and I'm glad I did.
And what are the courses that you teach?
I teach beginning sculpture, intermediate sculpture, 3D design, a course that's called studio art, but it covers the different craft processes in art. And I teach art appreciation.
Nice. And what would you say is your proudest non-teaching accomplishment?
Proudest non-teaching accomplishment? You can pick and choose. Always number one for me is family. I'm finally in a place in my life where I can dedicate time to work and family and have that good balance. Another non-teaching moment is just working on my art practice as a sculptor.
And what would you say is something that most people don't know about your past?
Uh, I've had a variety of jobs. I think we all have, and I usually tell my students at least one time a year, maybe not every single day, but that you don't start out with the job that you want to have down the road. You have to go things that are related or things that are unrelated. So I've been a janitor, I've been a cashier, I've been a customer service agent at a grocery store. I worked in pet stores. I worked in inventory. You name it, shop tech. So those wide variety of things help shape what we are and make us more personable for students. So I do. I don't say it every day, but every now and then I'll bring it up with my class, and they're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
So that they can get that relation. Okay, I'm working that job right now. I can get that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of different jobs it takes sometimes to get to what you really want to do.
Mhm.
Okay. What is your watch it 1,000 times movie?
That one I thought about for a while, and I can't give you a precise answer, but it would have to be something sci-fi, something futuristic, or a murder mystery. Any of those, like I could watch a lot. In high school, I think I made a list of movies that I had watched, and it was already over like 2,000 movies.
Good.
So
Are
yeah,
those something along those genres, probably?
something along those genres I'll watch again.
Okay. So when it comes to your class, your classes, what is your late work policy?
Um, my late work policy in lecture classes and studio classes are a little bit different. In my lecture classes, there's a lot of content to cover and to make sure that everyone is building or scaffolding upon each assignment or a subject. I take late work up to a week late without any points off because I know life happens. People plan on doing everything on time, but something comes up. And I even do make exceptions to take work even after that, but they've got to contact me and explain what happened, and I'm happy to work with them to catch them back up. In studio art classes, my light work policies, I'll take anything up until the last day of class. And I highly encourage students to rework assignments and projects. So they might not submit something one time, they might submit it 2 or 3 times. And you see the growth and the change. And that's kind of the goal, is not let's put this in the books and move on. Let's revisit that and make it perfect so you got everything that you could out of it.
And along those same lines, what is your absence policy?
Absence policy, I used to be a strict limit. More than 4, you're probably not going to be able to catch up. But now I've switched. Life happened to me, and events come up that you don't plan for and you don't expect. And as long as there's communication with the student and the instructor, I'm happy to get them the work that they need to do at home or to catch up on an individual plan.
And what is one piece of advice that you would give to your students?
One thing that I want them to see is the bigger picture about all the classes that they're taking. They'll look at their degree plan, and there's a lot of things on there that I don't want to learn that. That doesn't relate to what I want to do. Well, it's there for a reason. And it's not just to learn that subject, but to help inform you in your field of study how it can relate. So I want students to know to not compartmentalize each course, but to use them to feed the knowledge that they've gained in all of their other classes together.
That's good advice. What about pets? Do you have any pets?
I had a dog for 13 years and he passed away, and we're just not ready for another one yet. My son is asking for a goldfish, though. And
that's easy.
That's easy to take care of, but I always have that George Carlin line in the back of my head, the comedian George Carlin. He said, when you buy a pet, you're investing in a small tragedy.
It's true. Okay. On a Sunday, would you rather hike a mountain or kill zombies?
I'll hike a mountain.
Yeah, I think kill zombies is maybe if you're gaming or something, but I haven't had anybody pick that choice yet. What is your favorite teaching moment?
Favorite teaching moment is when I see the spark of interest in a student's eyes in a certain sculptural process. And that's because I'm a sculptor, so I really enjoy that. And when I see a student like really catch on and like, wow, that moment of amazement, that's what I love in the teaching moments. When we're bronze casting in class, and the bronze is getting up higher in temperature between 1200 and 1800 degrees, the fire starts to glow green. And then when they're looking at it, they're like, whoa. And that's what I love to see, is that amazement sometimes.
Okay, on a long weekend, where do you like to go, or what do you like to do?
I think I'm kind of a hermit. I just want to go home. But I do things around the house. I love gardening. I love making my artwork, spending time with my family, that thing. So I don't really go out much, but what I do at home, I enjoy.
Are you a do it now or wait until later type of person?
I think I answered both. Things that I know I'm required to submit, I want to make sure I do those right now and not postpone. But the things that are like on my longer term projects, they go long. They go long. So I'm a little bit of both. I can prioritize.
And what other career would you pursue if you weren't teaching?
I don't know, because I went through quite a few different ones, and I haven't enjoyed any of them as much as I do this. So I wouldn't be happier anywhere else. I enjoy this.
Yeah, sounds like you thoroughly explored that already, right?
Yeah.
What is your favorite anxiety reliever?
Making artwork. It's my passion. It's what I do, and it's what I hope other people will want to do. And even students who are not art majors, I hope they find some benefit in stress relief or relaxation techniques from just doodling or drawing or painting. But I enjoy sculpting.
Yeah, creative work. I feel like it is stress relieving. What is one inanimate object you would take to a desert island?
Mm, that one, I'm not sure. I'm going to lean towards a hammer.
I felt like you were going to say art supplies, but maybe that's
well, but hammer's utilitarian type of thing. Build shelter.
Yeah. What is your favorite thing about your job?
That it's never the same every day. There's always something new. It can be shocking or stressful, but there's never a dull moment. And I enjoy all of
it. So when it comes to your office decor, do you consider yourself a minimalist or a maximalist?
Maximalist. I think I've got stuff everywhere in my office, but I know where it is. So if you ask me, I can find it in 2 seconds. Anybody else would look at it and want to run for the hills.
Okay. What is the biggest obstacle that you would remove for your students if you could?
That if they can invest the time now in their courses. I know they've got a lot of other things going on with having to work or taking care of siblings or any number of things that divides their time. If I could free up their time to let them focus on just their field of study, I think they'd really get even deeper and learn a lot more about what they want to do and get the most out of the educational experience.
Okay, last official question. The best thing, what do you think is the best thing about being a union member, CUSTA member?
A union was new to me because I came from Texas and they're pretty much anti-union. And what I've come to realize is that it's not the union against the college, it's the union with the college, so that there was working with a symbiotic relationship that both of us need to be healthy in order to have a productive workforce and a great experience for students. So appreciating that we look out for each other and we work with administration and they can take into consideration some of the things that we might bring up.
Thank you. Well, that was our last question. Is there anything going on in the art department or in your class that you would like to share?
Yes, on April 1st, we're going to have some high school students from Golden West come to the COS campus, and they're going to have a whole day of going through the different studio areas and seeing what we're doing and learning a bit about art in higher education and what that process looks like. So that's going to happen on April 1st. Neat. And I also want to plug that the COS Art Gallery is always having exhibitions 2 to 3 per semester, and there's one that's open right now.
Very good. Thank you. Well, thank you for talking to us today, and thanks for being a union member.
Thank you.